Narcoleptic. Been one for 9 years. Sorry that I don't sound clear enough. I'm catching something. I was diagnosed back in 2002, and I wasn't sure what I had at first, but the person that was able to help me figure out what it was actually my high school nurse. After all the tests I went through for 6 months, not 6 months, it was November, December, January, February. Okay, not 6 months, it was 4 months. My bad. 4 months, a week at a time, being in the hospital, tested for everything under the sun, and still nothing could be found to give me a cause or give me answers to what was happening. At the times that it was happening, it was very scary because it was unknown. It was very, very unknown, and it was confusing. I got depressed over it, just from the anxiety of not knowing what it was because it was so scary. But a little bit about me, basically, I refused to give in to depression and despair, but I almost did give into it because it was just so changing. It was so life-changing in my life that I had just gotten into my sophomore year of high school, and what's worse is, in that time of year, when you go into your sophomore year, your body's changing, all your hormones are, doing all these fluctuations, and when you're a narcoleptic male, such as myself, it's a bit hard to, I would say, try not to get overexcited whenever you see a nice, good-looking girl walk in front of you. Like, just the beauty of a woman or a girl, like back in high school, it was just, some of the way that the high school girls dressed, it was so, especially the summer, oh god, that was a field day in itself. It was basically like kryptonite, basically. That's how I can describe it. It's like kryptonite. See a gorgeous woman, down I go. Just because it's just overwhelming in a good way, but it's, with the hormones raging and everything, it's hard to keep it at bay, to not get overexcited, and like just your body starts to pump blood and your heart fast, and it's just like, oh my god, it just happens so fast you don't even realize it. So I had to come up with ways. It's been 9 years since 2002. I've had to come up with ways to just be able to subconsciously, it just happens, just subconsciously to think of other things and look at other, like, things around me than what's in front of me that's going to cause me to have the attack. I just think back in my head, like, certain ways to just relax, calm myself, and just literally I am able to maintain control and not be overly excited. I almost basically keep my emotions to just like a flat line, kind of, not be totally emotionalist, but be able to feel somewhat of emotion and be able to appreciate what is around me and not be overly happy and not be overly excited or stressed. If possible, a lot of the time stress really causes it. But I'd have to say a lot of the triggers that I experience are through partially, most likely in retrospect, is my post-traumatic stress from way back when. I'm not going to get into that now. But post-traumatic stress and being a narcoleptic don't really mix, because all your senses are tightened and heightened through certain situations, and it's just hard to keep yourself kind of calm when you're in a new situation that you're not used to, or around a new person, or even when you're with a person that you know and that you've been around before. Sometimes you tense up and not realize it, and it's just yeah. So the post-traumatic stress and the narcolepsy don't really mix. So because one drains you because you're so tense and the emotions are high, and most of the triggers are emotions through fear, sadness, depression, or just being really, really tense. So you're draining your energy just being tense. But also, you end up being so drained that you don't realize how draining you're making your body be. So high school was tough. Being the only kid in the high school to be in the high school that planks randomly. I had to use a wheelchair when I was in high school. I was only able to come back to high school after I got diagnosed if only I used a wheelchair. That was the agreement. And then gradually, after the sophomore year, went into the junior year, there was another deal where I would use the wheelchair on off days, like when I would come into school looking like I hadn't slept at all, kind of like how I look right now. The nurse would be like, "You look like you're really tired. You look like you're going to have an attack today. I think I'd recommend the wheelchair." And I don't like to, but you have to. So I would just, like on a night when we went to go see Les Mis, great show. It was really great getting to see one of my favorite shows in Boston. So after I got back from that following night, got to school the next day, she's like, "Since we're out so late, you need to sit in a wheelchair." So I did. And I'd only used the wheelchair for days that I felt like I just felt so that a narcoleptic attack with cataplexy would be inevitable or it would be easy to happen. So I would use the wheelchair to be sitting in a position where I would just slump over like this and not fall to the ground and freak everybody out. So it is scary at first to people who don't know it or don't know about it. But what's scary is how people react to you and almost think they're going to help you, but they're going to probably do harm to you without even realizing it. I've had 2 incidents where random bystanders have done CPR to me. And it's scary. It's very, very scary. And the fact that the Heart Association's policy is hands first, don't bother looking for a pulse or a medical ID, bracelet or necklace or anything to indicate something else could be going on with this person than the usual procedures that they're taught for, which is very dangerous to narcoleptics or to anyone who has a fainting disorder where their heart's fine and they're breathing, but if someone thinks they're having a heart attack or not breathing, the person that's going to try to be the hero is going to actually be doing more harm to the person than saving them. It can actually stop the heart, make the heart work faster and harder, and stop the heart and kill the person in the process, or give someone broken ribs. So there has to be a change in that policy. That'll be another topic on another video. I've got stories to go with the details. This is my first video blog that I will. This is the first of many video blogs that I will be doing. Getting my word out there to see if this can help anyone or help anyone feel like they can connect in some way. But my goal is to make a difference in people's lives, to get more awareness of narcolepsy out there. And this is one way to do it. This was an idea given to me by my friend who also has narcolepsy. She suggested I get on video on YouTube and do YouTube blogs and put my word out there and see what difference it can make. And I'm shooting for a positive one, and so is she. Because this could actually be beneficial to everybody. So I'm going to give it a try. So yeah, growing up as a narcoleptic hasn't been easy. Hasn't been the best way to live life, but I've lived my life. I have a social life. I passed the 10-minute mark, so I will cut it here, and I'll put up another video soon. I'll get into more detail with other topics and other issues. Take care for now. Till next time.